and welcome to Partner Perspectives. I'm Gina Lopez, Partnership Director at Partnerize, and I'm here to support the growth of our strategic partners in the APAC region. Joining me today is Gary, Chief Executive Officer at Pokitpal. Today, we'll explore Pokitpal offering in the Australian market, including instant reward as well as their card linking technology, along with any exciting updates from the Pokitpal team. I'll now pass over to you, Gary, to start the presentation.
Thank you, Gina, and thanks very much for the opportunity to present to your partners today. So looking forward to this session. We'll start maybe just by giving a quick general overview on Pokitpal, what we do, how we work with advertisers in particular, and then we'll work through some of the unique opportunities I think that we can help your partners with. So Pokitpal has been around for just over a decade now. Actually, we started off in print advertising as a business, and about 7 years ago, we moved into the digital era with the ambition that we would record every single transaction that was conducted between the consumers on one side of our business and the retailers on the other side of our business. We initially started working specifically on the bricks and mortar retailers in the market. We felt that the e-commerce sector was already busy with lots of people working on tracking transactions in that space. Much more difficult to do it in a bricks and mortar environment, and that took us down the avenue of card linking. For those that don't understand what card linking is, effectively, Pokitpal captures the transactions as they take place in real time when someone uses a credit or debit card in a physical store or these days on an e-commerce site as well. We do that through deep integration with our banking partners and with Mastercard and Visa and FPOS here in Australia to pick up those transactions in real time. We then run that through an engine on our side, a rewards engine, which calculates if a consumer should be rewarded for that purchase in some way, and we send a notification out to the consumer then to notify them of if it's a cashback reward or a points reward, for example, and we can support both. And we'll talk a little bit about that as we go through. We work today with about 1,500 retailers. As I've said, we initially started with bricks and mortar retailers. However, that's changed, particularly during the pandemic, COVID pandemic. We pivoted and we're now probably about 50-50 in terms of our e-commerce customers and bricks and mortar. So around 1,500 retailers across both Australia and New Zealand, I should say. Australia's, in our view, slightly further ahead and more advanced in terms of the adoption of our technology than New Zealand, but New Zealand and the banks over there in particular are catching up, and there's some dynamics there which perhaps for another day I'd be happy to explain why they're rapidly catching up with what's happening here. So I've said and touched on the fact that we integrate with the banking ecosystem, and we obviously capture data, and we complete those transactions, reward customers in real time. We work across all sectors of retail. In total, we run around 30 rewards programs across Australia and New Zealand. On the slide are some of the logos and partners that we have. We generally target the banking and financial services sector, but we have clients in other sectors from social enterprises and other consumer apps. And some of the names are here. But if I focus on the larger publishers that we have in our network, some of these are going to be familiar to you if you're already in the Australian market and operating here. Obviously, we've got brands like Virgin Money, which is a very well-known brand, Latitude Financial Services, Beam, which is a payments app, Suncorp Bank, NRMA, and so on. And we'll get into, as we go through the slides, a little bit more detail on the specifics of those. So what we like to do with advertisers is that each of these publishers have a different size of customer base and arguably a different target customer base in terms of the demographics. So we like to work with advertisers, understand who your target customers are, and then we will tailor what we do with you and for you, and target the right cohort of customers here with the right offer to drive activity for you. The way we like to think of our business, on one side we've got the advertisers or retailers or merchants, and if I use the language, any one of those three words, for us they all mean the same thing. But we discuss the offer content with the advertiser. Then depending on who they want to target, we map that through our system to the right publishers and the right cohort of customers. And our engine is capable of segmenting and running different offers to different groups of customers. We might talk a little bit more about that as we go through the presentation. But for example, a lot of marketing dollars go towards attracting new customers. We can set something up that's new customers only, albeit we suggest and recommend that you, even if it's a small reward, that you put a reward in place for all users. What we see is a significant increase in customer spend over time for those brands that reward them, even if it's a small reward. It brings the customers back time and time again because they're getting that alert and that notification, and you keep rewarding them, and that gratification is paid in full. And we have brands that gain from 70% uplift in customer spend to 500% uplift in customer spend when we map that out over a 12-month period. In terms of how the system itself works then, what we do for retailers is and publishers, I guess, is we talk about frictionless rewards. So the benefit of card-linked offers in particular here is that the customer may be aware of your offer. They don't necessarily have to pop into a third-party app, click something to come back to your site to make a purchase, right? And if that's an e-commerce site, maybe that journey's familiar to them. But equally, if we're working with brands that have a combination of e-commerce and in-store, we want to track that user regardless of how they got to you, if you like. So when they go into your physical stores and make a purchase, we're capturing the transaction on their card. And that means that we can give you a real omni-channel experience. We can track users and tell you which of them are starting online versus in-store, and how frequently they're purchasing, and for example, the average value across those things. For the retailers that are physical, one of the things that we like to emphasize is we don't need to go into your store and deploy any technology or do any staff training, because we've integrated back with the payment rails, the banking ecosystem I referred to earlier. We're in effect already connected to the payment device in your store or the payment gateway on your website. So when we're using card linking, our job is to stimulate the customer interest, get them to your site, get them to use a particular card that's registered on our system. And by the way, if they use another card, for example, we don't support Amex. If they use an Amex card, we won't see that transaction, won't reward them. So they know that they have to use the cards that are associated with the programs that we're running. It's all effortless on the customer's side. There's no additional QR codes, barcodes, coupon codes, or anything that they need to use. to trigger the transaction on our side. They simply use their normal credit or debit card and go through the regular payment process, and we pick up the transaction. The beauty with Partnerize is that then we have a API feed which allows us to send the transaction detail in real time back into your dashboard if you're a retailer, so that you can see those card link transactions come through as well, and you get one consolidated view. And we contract through the normal arrangements with Partnerize, and that's very simple for you. Sorry. We work with all sectors, and there's some examples here of the uplift in various sectors that we see. We've done various benchmarks, and we can help you with specific details. Often when we talk to advertisers, they're curious whether people in their sector are participating, what kind of offers they're running, what's worked well in the past, and we'd be very happy to share that with you on a call, a follow-up call, if we can do that. So what's the contractual arrangement? Much as it is for your other affiliate programs, we like to work with a zero setup cost, removing the friction for you and giving you an opportunity to try this with very, very low risk, right? Like the affiliate transactions, we only charge you if we've generated transactions for you as an advertiser. There's a very high return investment here, so your ROAS I'm sure is a key metric for you. And typically the offers that we see that work well, it may be a dollar offer where customers are encouraged, for example, spend $150 and get $15 back, or it could be a straight percentage one. It depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to drive basket size up, or you're just keen to get more new customers in the door, we'll work with you to tailor the right offer for you. And as I said before, we're reaching up to 9 million consumers with the advertising that we have. And our job is to make sure that we're targeting the right customers for you. Because we have a success-based model here, we work very hard to make sure that we're targeting the customers that you want, and we're trying to get them to your store, so that the more success we have, the more dollars spent with you, the more revenue we generate, and the more rewards we issue to our customers. We like to think that we operate very much at the very bottom of the funnel here, in that we're at the point of sale. We're not, while we do create some awareness through EDMs and social comms, and our publishing partners use that to stimulate activity and interest. Ultimately, we're at the bottom of the funnel, in that you only get charged when that transaction happens. Every dollar, as I've said at the beginning, it was our objective 7 years ago when we entered the card linking space, to be able to track and monitor every single dollar and verify back to you the kind of return on investment that we can give you as an advertiser. And we do that today, and we share a suite of reports. If you're a retailer with lots of physical stores, you may even want to know what the distribution of our transactions are on a per store level, and we can share all of that with you, so that you can see which areas are particularly performing well. In terms of key metrics, we benchmarked our services against some of the other ways that you might be spending dollars today for marketing, and we know that it performs really well. So if you're trying to, we've got a budget and you're thinking, how do I deploy that budget? I'm not familiar with card linking. I don't know whether it's really going to work for me. I'm using all of these other social channels today to drive traffic. We can set something up that's maybe take a small piece of your budget initially, allocate it to a campaign, and what we see time and time again is that the advertisers we work with then begin to increase the amount of their budget that's being applied to our programs, because we give them a better return than some of those other advertising channels that they may be using at the minute. And it's fair to say that not every advertising channel that you're probably putting money into is able to tell you exactly how many dollars they've created. We can, and we will we'll report that back to you. Some more benchmarking here just around cost of acquisition. We've done that across various categories here for you. So you can look through the screen and say, how much is it costing you today to acquire a new customer? And this is the average acquisition cost through our ecosystem for acquiring a new customer. Obviously, some items are much higher spend. Furniture there being the $53 to acquire a new customer, but the amount that we spend on a furniture purchase is obviously substantial compared to food and beverage, as an example. So this is really competitive, and we work with obviously a broad variety of advertisers here. We'd love to work with you, and if you want to learn more about this and how you can benefit from this, please reach out. Just to say and remind you, we've already got 1,500 retailers. We're working across a variety of sectors. Some of the brands or names are here, maybe familiar to you, but if you want to inquire specifically about which brands are in your sector and what kind of offers, we can share that information with you. We also run a range of gift card offers on our platform. Some organizations prefer to use gift cards to attract the customers, and we can do that as well. Now I'm just going to change gear a little bit and talk about some of the publishers that we're working with specifically, the size of the opportunity with them. And Suncorp Bank may or may not be known to all of you on the call, but this is a large organization based out of Queensland, and majority of the customers are in Queensland. We've got 900,000 cardholders on there. They've all been activated. They are marketed to through a website and ADMs on a regular basis. And we're always looking for new customers to go on to this. The bank this really only launched about May this year. It's had a really strong takeoff. And the beauty here is that we have historical banking data that allows us, when we set your offer up, to identify the customers that may already be your customers and target them differently to the ones that are not your customers today. So I think that's a unique opportunity that we have that detail, and we'd love to talk to you about this opportunity and other card linking opportunities. NRMA is an organization launched the cashback program in early 24. It's really taken off very well. They put a huge effort behind this in terms of their own marketing. It's fair to say they've always had offers for their members, but again, they wanted to be able to understand who's redeeming offers, and they've adopted our card linking technology now and are promoting that to 3.1 million members. The vast majority of those members, I should say, are in New South Wales because NRMA is the roadside assistance business here in New South Wales, and not to be confused with NRMA Insurance. That's a separate entity. So we're open to more content going in here, and certainly they want to hero some familiar brands and get them out through a combination actually of printed media. They still distribute 1.5 million booklets quarterly to their members, but also their digital channels and their EDMs. A little bit more about the breakdown of their users here, and the channels that they're using to reach out to them. As you can see, there's 1.1 million email subscribers on here. And I should say that this group typically slightly older demographic than some of the other cohorts we work with. So if you're interested in targeting people that are probably 30 plus, this is a really good channel for you. And if you've got stores across the country, don't worry about this being New South Wales only. Obviously, members may be from New South Wales, but they travel throughout the country, and we see redemptions right across Australia. Beam is a brand that's probably best known by some of our younger audience. They tend to focus on the 18 to 25 cohort. That's not to say that they haven't got people outside that range. They do indeed. And they've got 2.2 million users. For those that are unfamiliar with Beam, it's a payments app. It's a peer-to-peer payments app where people, a bit like Splitwise, some of you may be familiar with, where people combine their financial resources, I guess, to pay bills, whether that's a restaurant bill or a electricity bill in a shared household or something. So this is an ecosystem of users that's just growing as people share with friends. So getting larger all the time, as a very strong brand amongst those earlier or younger demographic, very active on our card-linked rewards program. And again, they're super keen to have new brands on board. So reach out if you're interested in getting to that earlier or younger cohort. One or two others just to talk to. Employment Hero is a brand that's been certainly as a fintech has been in the media over the last couple of years. One of Australia's fastest growing fintech businesses, now a global business. But we run the rewards program for them here in Australia. They've got where they have over 2 million members. Those members have a swag proposition, it's called, and when they opt into swag, they get a combination of affiliate and card-linked offers. So in this case, it doesn't have to be a card-linked offer to go into the Employment Hero program. And this is a payroll platform, so the age group is quite diverse, but Employment Hero obviously understand and have the detail as to the demographic and the mix within their base. So there's an ability here to target different cohorts of customers, and you can see the split of the age groups and so on the screen. Another payroll platform that we're working with is Human Force. And Human Force tends to focus on casual workers, that particularly in the QSR sector. So they may have, be working 3-4 shifts a week in a particular QSR or hospitality sector. So those casual workers get paid through the Human Force app, and therefore there's regular engagement with the app. And we're running a rewards program here. Again, it's a combination, much like Employment Hero, of card-linked offers and affiliate offers. And if you're interested in learning more about Human Force, or maybe you're in that sector yourself and feel that this could be a way to reward your staff members, then we'd be really keen to talk to you about this particular program. I think there's one or two more left here. Virgin Money is an organization. Obviously, the Virgin brand is global, really well-known brand. We see it as very much a premium brand. They go after customers that are slightly higher than average earning. Young families tend to be the target here. So if you're perhaps targeting young families with young children, then this is one that you should think about. They don't have a huge amount of users, 70,000 plus and growing cardholders in Australia, but great marketing, good cut through in terms of the offers that we have here. This is all card linking. So again, we have the historical information to help you target the right customers in this cohort. If you think about customers between the age of 20 and 40, that's probably what you're getting the most of here. And I think that's really all I have for you today. We're delighted to work with Partnerize. We've got full integration, so everything's automated there. If you want to participate, if you want to learn a little bit more about card linking, I encourage you to reach out to myself directly or to Anthony Paulo, who Anthony is the account manager that will do the first call with a lot of the advertisers. And we'd love to hear from you and see how we can help you grow your customer base while we grow ours. Thank you very much for your time.